Hola, bienvenidos a Lightspeed Spanish. Today I'm going to share with you something that happens in Spain that revolves around food that would never happen in England. It would never happen. Hablamos de todo en la segunda parte. Ojalá tuviera yo un español más decente. Before I tell you what would never happen in the UK that happens frequently, in fact just about every time here in Spain, I need to tell you about the lack of expression that we have in the UK when it comes to saying to somebody, enjoy your meal. The Americans have got it sorted. Enjoy your meal. Enjoy your meal. They're happy to say that. In Spain, what do they say? Que aproveche. And that is that the food be enjoyed. Basically, in Mexico, I learned buen provecho. Doesn't matter. Good enjoyment. Enjoy it. Why? Because here in Spain, enjoying food is up there with oxygen. It's very important. In the UK, we adopted enjoy your meal, but we never had it before. We adopted it because, well, you've got to say something. No, what we say in the UK is something very different, especially in the northeast of England. We have various expressions. Expression number one, get it down you. Get it down you. Eat it up. That we want people to eat. And it's absolutely important that when the plate is put in front of you, that you start eating. You don't, in South Shields, you don't wait for other people. Because the other expression number two, get it while it's hot. It's very important. It's cold up north. Food's got to be eaten when it's hot. Don't be hanging about letting it cool down. It's the pecado mortal in South Shields, letting your food get cold. Expression number three, not so common, but one that I love and I say it every now and again, and that is, put yourself on the outside of that. Now you've got to think about it, have a think about it, see how it works. It's true. Rather than get that on the inside of you, put yourself on the outside of that. And so they are the expressions that we typically use. I'm talking about the northeast of England. I know it changes wherever you go, but generally in the UK, it was never the habit to say enjoy your meal. Only maybe people who were serving you might say that, but not normally, and certainly not in the house when somebody puts food down in front of you. Here in Spain, it's a very different matter. If Cynthia sees me eating and she isn't eating, she will say, que aproveche. And you say, here in Spain, gracias. It's very important. Que aproveche, with that tone. Que aproveche, muchas gracias. Okay? That's how it's done. But you might say, hang on. That's just in the house. That's just with your family. When the family's about to eat, que aproveche, gracias, everybody says, yeah? But no, it's everywhere. If you walk into a restaurant in Spain and you are walking to your table, the waiter's taking you to the table, and you walk past tables where people are eating, you say, que aproveche, okay? And they will say thank you. And then you walk to your table. That is very normal. In fact, it's polite. If you happen to squeeze past somebody who's eating, you say que aproveche, enjoy your meal. But wait a moment. In the UK, certainly where I've lived, never, jamás, nunca dirías eso. You wouldn't say that. In a restaurant, if you walk past a table and you say to people, enjoy your meal, they will look at you as though you're weird. Because it's weird. You just don't do it. You don't talk to people they're eating, they're with the family. You don't break into conversation with them. And you certainly don't tell them to enjoy the meal. That's for the people who are serving. That's fine. But random people walking past saying enjoy your meal would just be absolutely weird. And that's another big difference between Spain and the UK. And that's why we can have awkward moments when we're in another culture because we want to do what we think is the correct thing, what we think is a polite thing, and people look at us as though we're weird. Of course, if you're in Spain and you walk past a table and you don't say anything, well, you don't realise that you're being rude, but the people at the table will be looking at you going, joder, Que maleducado. And so you would probably do that for years without realizing here in Spain, just not saying that to people. But in the UK, very, very quickly, you would know that you don't say enjoy your meal to people that you don't know. And you would know by the way that they would look at you, like, and they probably wouldn't say thank you, because when you say to somebody in the UK, enjoy your meal, as you're walking past their table, they don't know how to respond. And they would be looking at you thinking, why is this person telling me to enjoy my meal? Do I know them? Do they work here? There would just be confusion, and you would see the face of confusion. So Spanish people are probably more fortunate that they would understand that you don't do that in the UK than British people here in Spain who wouldn't know and just would be considered extremely rude. Y así que, esa es otra diferencia enorme entre los de Inglaterra y los de España. Bueno, seguimos hablando de esto en un futuro cercano. Hasta luego, chicos. Adiós.